Welcome back to the Hooligans Pitch. It's season 3, new EPL season. We're on episode 79, closing in on that hundo. As always, it's Chad.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, yeah, we're back officially for season 3.
Welcome back and welcome to.
You know, this is exciting times. New season for
Finally.
us and the league, and yeah, you know, here we go again.
We go again, Chad. We go again. So happy to be back. We've been jonesing for the Premier League to begin as soon as City lifted that trophy last year. That was only 3 months ago. It flew by. We're ready to go, ready to dig in, ready to challenge every call we see, the banter has already begun.
Oh, it's great.
From Friday, you know, opening match, Fulham United, and then to how Leicester and Tottenham left us today. What a weekend.
Yeah.
What a weekend.
I mean, if this is a show of what the season is going to bring, it's going to be crazy.
So many question marks, so many I don't want to say regrets on my predictions, but definitely some thinking that needs to be done.
Sure. Yeah.
And, you know, as far as players go from last year, are those same players last year going to be the same players this year? I think not. I think there's going to be some, I don't want to call it turmoil, but just some indifferences of how we saw players pop off last year. And I think we're going to see a different change, a different tune of players, and how, I mean, we can say it how it is, how other teams are going to play to beat City. This is, I think teams are trying to see what they can do to beat City. And we'll first knock of the year, Chelsea did not have it. They did not figure it out. So I think we saw that coming.
No.
But let's get to our beers. Let's get to our commencement of season 3. I got my Hooligans Pitch custom shot glass. Daniel, thank you. We got a little green screen there.
There we go. You can see it now.
Yeah, what you got? What you got in that thing?
It was just some nice chilled tequila.
Oh, attaboy. I got some chilled bullet. So
okay. All right. May the season be fun, fair, and City's not winning.
That's right. That's right. Clink.
Cheers.
Oh, man. Whew. I haven't had whiskey in a minute. All right.
Well, there's no better time to get back onto the whiskey train than season start. So,
hey, we got Vegas this weekend. Just get a little.
That's it. That's good prep.
Good prep. And then for my beer, you know, I'm just doing my classic Space Camper. It is Monday. I am being a little ridiculous. It is 9.5%. Just one.
Just one. All right, good. I'm throwing a little curveball at you. I don't know if you've seen them yet, but I got a Spindrift Spiked.
Get out of here.
No, it's the real deal. It's at Costco. Hang on, let me try and do this again.
Bro, we don't got Costco.
Well, you should go.
Time to go out of my way. Okay.
Yeah. They're only 4%, so nice light seltzer. Basically just tastes like a normal Spindrift. So dangerous, but that's great. I like Spindrift already. Throw a little alcohol in it. Let's go.
I've been making my own seltzers lately, and gonna try to fine-tune some, figure out what combinations I can make. So we'll talk about that later. Let's get into it, Chad. Dying to talk Man United, Fulham. The kickoff to the season you wanted, was it good enough for you?
To call it the kickoff is, I think, generous.
Sure.
The ball was kicked off, but it felt more like a preseason game.
It was not very hype. Yeah, this Man U team is interesting. You know, we thought Johnny Evans was going to start, and I mean, Maguire and Martinez wasn't a much better duo than probably slot Johnny Evans in there anywhere else, and it's fine. A couple standouts, though, by Man United. I mean, we like what Xerxes brought to the table. I thought Mason Mount played okay. Now, did he play like
forgot about him, honestly.
I did too. When I saw him out there, I was like, oh, I forgot. He was like a top point getter in our fantasy league.
Yeah.
What, 2 years ago?
2 years
ago?
Yeah.
It wasn't even that long ago. So,
yeah.
Interesting to see him back. I thought he played okay. You know, they didn't really play a true number 9 either. Højlund is kind of has a little knock right now.
They had a weird setup at the start.
So, you know, this was a game I thought Fulham probably should have brought a little more energy.
I thought they would.
Right?
Like, I was all for Fulham in this. I picked them in our pick'em league. I thought they were going to come out with a little more fire, and I think especially if you're doing your research on United beforehand, you're seeing Hoyland's out. They brought Xerxes in, but he just got there. I don't think you would expect him to start. They still have some quality players in there, but I think Fulham would have maybe should have done a little bit more work to prepare and see what areas they could really take advantage of. Just even getting Smith Rowe in there. I know he's kind of getting back up to, like, I guess, full match fitness. Like, he hasn't played a lot in the past 2 years, so makes sense. But it just, I don't know. I think Fulham's tactics are just a little too safe. Maybe, like, this is not the United team of years ago where they are a super tough team at home. I think you could have risked it a little bit more.
I agree.
And probably came away with something.
Do you think this Man United team can be something this year? Because you look at them on paper, and Mazarawe, I thought, was a great signing, and he looked like he fit in perfectly for what they were trying to do. They had to bring Dallo and put him on the left-hand side, so that'll be interesting to see when Shaw gets back, who kind of claims their role. But I really like the Kobe Mainu Casemiro defensive mid pairing, because it did allow, Casemiro is a very attack-minded defensive mid. He wants to go up front, and I think having Mainu as that backup can work for this team. I just don't know if their midfielders are what they need as far as getting the job done as far as finishing goes, right?
Sure, yeah.
Dallo and Mason Mount and Rashford all have been pretty rough in the last year, so that's a lot to ask from them. Bruno's going to be Bruno, right? I think we can kind of expect him to be, class to at least your best player on the pitch at all times.
Sure.
They're just missing. They're missing a key piece, and it's got to be in the attacking department.
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at their attack right now, or even for starting this game, you have Rashford out there, which there's some player in Rashford still, but it's just not the Rashford that we had seen in seasons past.
It's different. It's so different.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him, but he's lost the touch, clearly. I was kind of surprised to not see Garnacho start. I thought, last season he really kind of grew throughout the season, and I think always provided a lot of threat. So I probably would have started him, honestly, but it just, they're in a weird, like, they want to be rebuilding, but they don't necessarily commit to that. Like, they still want to make the big name, like, star signings, like your Casemiros and your Varanes that came in and have all this experience and are good, but was just kind of like a little bit past their prime, I guess. So I don't know. They are just in a weird spot. I don't know that they're going to really be anything this season. I think right now it feels like they're just going to kind of repeat last season and, come away with some wins that they maybe don't deserve and place well enough on the table, but, not where a Manchester United team should be.
I think making a title-winning squad, you need youth, and then you need those veterans to bring your youth together and help them understand the job that needs to be done. Like, I'll just bring in Liverpool. I feel like Liverpool's has those veterans, right? They have Virgil, they have Salah, they have Robertson, they have Alisson. Like, those are four guys right there who can bring together this budding youth they have, the Gakpos, the Diaz, the McAllisters, the Szoboszlai. Like, those are all guys who haven't been there before, versus the four guys who have won titles in Champions League. So it's like the perfect combination of the two, and I think you need those things to win titles, win trophies, win silverware. And I think Arsenal is almost there. They're getting close now, really close to that kind of same formation. But we look at Man United. Okay, who on this team right now has won something that matters? Casemiro, That's about
That's
it.
about it.
About it. You can call him Mason Mount a little bit, but he's been pretty irrelevant.
Onana, he won with Inter, no? Or was that not him?
He was with Inter, but they didn't win Champions League. I guess they won.
Okay.
They won Serie A, so sure he'll fit in that. You know, you just need certain combinations of players, and like Chelsea signing all these players who have no veteran status, like that's just a locker room full of guys.
I feel like I could just do a whole podcast purely on their 43 players.
Well, João Felix is now with them, so hey, up the tally. Gallagher officially out, but hey, we'll get to Chelsea later.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know, talking about Fulham here, I think Fulham's going to be bottom tier. That
Polina-sized hole is massive.
It is massive.
So I would agree. It's they so far it looks like have not done a good job replacing him, and that was always going to be a tough task. But wow, like Polina in this team, I think Fulham probably gets the win over United here. You know, it's such a miss to not have him or anyone that can really do what he was doing, and Fulham's gonna have to figure that out.
I mean, Anthony Robinson is the best player on Fulham right now, which is awesome. To have an American be the best player on any team in Europe, fantastic. 8 tackles, 2 interceptions, 6 clearances, a menace down the left-hand side, and that was nowhere near his best game.
No,
but also,
I mean,
he has no one. He's not one to help.
Yeah, and I think you left that game thinking he didn't look like he performed that well, right? And then we went over the stats and we're like, oh, he was the best out there for them. I think they can definitely use. They basically need, Jimenez, but like back when he was like kind of good.
Wolf Jimenez.
Yeah, I guess when he was at Wolves, like, and I kind of thought, they in preseason seemed to do a really good build through Smith Rowe, who would kick it out to Anthony Robinson, or the other side, which I think would be in this game Tete, and then they'd go down the line and then cross it in, and then Smith Rowe would be like kind of the late runner into the box. And I thought they were just going to utilize that kind of play over and over, or at least oftentimes throughout the game, and didn't really even
rarely
see that in this game. And so I don't know why they kind of switched away from that, or maybe thought it was too obvious or something, but I think they'll figure it out a little bit. But I think they're just going to really struggle against good teams, and unfortunately I think there's going to be a lot of good teams this year. So
I think the top half it's going to be, I'm really hoping we don't have like that outlier team this year, considering last year we had a 3-team race until the last 4 or 5 games. But I agree with you. I think the top half of the table should be pretty close. There's a couple in there where I'm a little, after seeing the first match, I'm a little shaky on. Just
sure,
it's like, okay, well, if you couldn't get it done against them, what's going to look like later? But then there are teams out there where I thought they'd be kind of shit to begin the season, and they look amazing. So
yeah.
So I mean, to start the season off with that game, fine. I think we all were like, okay, like the season starts tomorrow for me anyway.
Fair. Yeah.
Love, can we get into Liverpool? You ready to do it?
Oh yeah.
I won't lie, first half had me shaking. I was going, oh no, Ipswich is the new Luton.
Rough start.
Rough. It was disorganized. A little like,
sure.
It was a little, everyone was, oh man, like almost too, it was eager. Everyone had a little, those jitters, the preseason jitters.
Yeah.
That was there. It was 100% there. And Ipswich probably should have done more in terms of being a threat in the final third, which they just don't know how to do that against a team like Liverpool with their defensive line. So first half, kind of a wash. Slot made arguably his first key move, which is benching Kwanzaa at the end of the first half, which is, that takes some guts to especially for what we thought Kwanzaa would be. 21 years old, a little raw, but also really good. And Slot said, "Oh hell no, too many dispossessions. Konate get in there. Like,
That's it though.
you've been there. Konate's been there, so I think that helps. I think Liverpool too. Again, the veterans and the youth, right? You got to have the perfect combination, and I do think when the youth is out there, the players who have been there before can't trust them as much, which is again totally fair. That's to be expected. When we did go to Kwanzaa on the bench, he was sulking, and that made me a little bit, I don't want to say worrisome, but just a little bit disappointed because, dude, you're 21 years old. You're arguably playing for the top 3 team in England right now. You got guys in front of you. Like, you're lucky to start on opening day when clearly there are players who would kill for your spot. But second half went off. The organization was clear. Can we talk about that Trent pass to Mo?
Yeah.
Come on.
That was beautiful.
Come on. How pretty was that?
Yeah.
Just
it was
perfect.
I mean, to be fair, Leif Davis just stops tracking Salah for some reason.
You can't do that, man. You can't fall asleep.
It's a hard lesson to learn, but welcome to Premier League. But I mean, that pass was still, the pass was still just incredible, and
perfectly weighted.
Salah looks just as good as any other season. He hasn't missed a beat over summer. If anything, he's maybe in even better shape than last season's start. Like he lost a few pounds with the hair, so yeah. I mean, I didn't pick a Liverpool player for my fantasy league, which was already a big risk, and almost immediately I was like, that was a mistake.
You can get him in right now, Chad. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's on the radar for sure, or any switch that I need to make. I'm not trying to wait too long, but I'm not trying to be too quick in my action. So
So Salah has 9 goals on opening day since 2017.
Nice.
So he has a new record, 9 goals.
Yeah, pretty good.
Beat out some pretty solid people for that record. Sabasai looked great once things were figured out. Again, the team really clicked that second half. Second half, I felt so much better. You could see the lack of knowledge with Ipswich, and I don't want to take anything away from them though, because I do think they have that kind of Luton energy. I don't think they're as good as Luton just on that first kind of watching of them.
I don't think their performance was bad necessarily, but just not exactly up to where you need to be for Premier League standards. And as we saw with Luton, I think that can come throughout the season. Just depends how quickly you can get there and get the points you need to get.
With Luton, though, I felt like you could never fall asleep.
Yeah.
With Ipswich, after we went up 1-0, it was like the soul got sucked out of every single one of them, and they had no will to try to fight in this game. That's the vibe I got, and that's why that Salah goal just felt kind of easy. It wasn't. I mean, it probably wasn't easy, but the way it came about just looked so like it looked like they were barely trying out there at that point. It looked like they're having fun. They're having fun at that point.
I think probably a little bit was, I'm sure Ipswich and the coaching and all that was trying to kind of psych the guys up for like, you're going up against Liverpool, who's top 3 Premier League team. So it's going to be an uphill battle, but you're trying to kind of like mentally overcome that, and then to go down a goal after a first half that went your way, really. It's probably just a little deflating, and then unfortunately, another lesson for the Premier League is like you don't really get time to be down and be deflated like that once you let in a goal. You gotta get right back into it, get back to your game.
Yep.
Push harder, So I think they can certainly continue to grow as the season goes on. But I mean, it's Liverpool. It was never going to be a easy win for them, even if they got a win or a draw.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the future holds for us. The first game, everyone has the jitters, especially with a new coach. I definitely had them. I said, if we let this game even slip a little bit, I'm worried for the future. I'm worried for Slot. I mean, the first goal went in, and it looked like the man didn't even want to celebrate. But you see him? He was like, all right, he shook someone's hand. I was like, bro, a year from now, you better be going crazy because every goal matters. Every goal matters.
I mean, that's what I was kind of thinking when I was watching it. It was like, he's kind of celebrating, but not as much as like we're used to with Klopp, right? So is just that like that switch feels so harsh because Klopp would be hugging people, running down the sideline.
I think we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, I think he definitely has that like character about him. So I think it will get there. I think definitely in bigger games you'll see him more animated. I think, but
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
This was going against a newly promoted team and scoring a goal after that's like thank God.
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
That's what he did. All right, just two things, and I'll let this game go. Looking at our team right now, the only player, I guess the oldest player not in their 30s right now is Diaz. So again, I do think the balance of youth for what we have as far as our veterans go is just awesome. Gravenberch playing
look great,
right? We haven't seen that at all, so it was really cool to kind of see him get his spot, get his role, and play arguably pretty decent at it. And then just the overall rotation of the players coming in, I like Slot's substitutions. I will say, just get Jota to be bubble wrapped at a certain point, like just make sure that guy doesn't get hurt, and I think we could have a pretty successful season. So,
I mean, I think if like Jota looks really good at that in that striker role, I think you might just need to be very proactive about switching him and Darwin as much as you can or as much as you need. Darwin's injury record is pretty good. Like he's almost always available, it seems like. So maybe you lean on him a little bit more when you get a little more comfortable with him, I guess. But yeah, you got to keep Jota healthy as much as you can because that guy just always scores, or at least is always a threat and opens up the door for someone else.
Always. His goal to game ratio is nuts. But that's the elephant in the room, right? Nunez not playing. I don't see anything wrong with that right now. But I also don't know why we didn't see any minutes from him this game. That's my only concern. It's like, why didn't he get any time?
Yeah, I mean, part of me wonders if it's a little, maybe internal punishment or whatever you want to call it for the antics over the summer.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be crazy.
I don't know that they would do too much of that, but I mean, it was surprising for him to not, at least get the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever.
We had a sub to do it. We only used 4.
Yeah. But, I mean, it could just be that, Slot liked what he saw out there and, kind of wanted to let them play it out as much as you could. I mean, the game was dead after that first goal, but certainly after that second goal, and you had, another 30, 40 minutes basically to go. So, yeah, I don't know.
Smooth sailing after Solo's goal. It was.
Yeah, so I surprised to not see Darwin, but, I don't think it's anything to ring any alarm bells or anything yet.
Not yet.
Hope maybe they're just working really hard in training to get him to, get goals and not hit the posts and everything. So, he could have been tired from all the shooting he's been doing.
If that's the case, Chad, so be it.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I got for my team. Want to
good start, yeah.
Want to jump to yours?
Yeah.
Take it away.
Arsenal almost felt like they picked up where they left off last season. Honestly, it was no new crazy tactics, no new crazy setup. Like even pretty much the same lineup that we saw over and over last season.
Partey being the one who, I guess he didn't start last year, right? He was out for.
He was injured a lot, yeah. So, I think yeah, he was the only, I guess, quote unquote new addition. But I think that's more because they want Declan Rice to be able to go up a little bit further, where last season he kind of got stuck sitting back just because we didn't have anyone else, which I think is probably the end goal of what they want. But yeah, I mean, Arsenal I think started pretty well, looks pretty confident right away. Good early pressure. Martin Odegaard just doing back heels and then having fun. A handful of minutes into the game, it was nothing. Kai's making the good runs and got some good energy on him. So it was a good start. I didn't feel too nervous. Wolves has kind of maybe been one of the semi-bogey teams for Arsenal over the past few years. But them not having Neto is, I think, a huge huge win for Arsenal and a huge loss for Wolves.
Huge downgrade. Crazy.
Yeah. So I don't know. They gotta, I think, work on their tactics, their formation a little bit. They had their new guy Larson, I think it was, up top. But then Chan was like kind of playing behind him, which I don't know, felt a little.
I felt bad for Chan, dude.
Yeah, it just wasn't really his game. So I don't know. I think they got to work on that. But good first game. I think it felt like everyone was performing well, especially that first half. Like it was kind of one of those dragging on till you get the goal, but then somehow they leave Bukayo Saka wide open and he floats in like the perfect cross, and Havertz finally gets like a good headed goal. I feel like so many headers of his just go like straight to keeper or wide. But that's also kind of the play that I was hoping we would see when Havertz first came.
I know.
So I'm hoping like that's what they're building on here, because I think there's so many tall players now in Arsenal, and if Saka, if Ben White, if Martinelli or Trossard or Zinchenko, Calafiori, whoever's on that left side can float in these good crosses to the goal or back post, I think Arsenal can really take advantage of that and get some easy goals that way. So hopefully they kind of lean into that. I'd like to see that. You got all that height, you might as well use it. But then we come to the first point of contention here.
Is that what we're jumping to, or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
not yet.
Okay.
I'm talking I'm saying a foul on Saka in the box.
Yes. Oh, controversial. Let's dig into that one, because mixed feelings.
So yeah, I think it looks worse because of the final kind of fall that Saka does. But I think when you go back and look at it, Saka's making the cutback. Defender comes in, makes no play on the ball, and just like takes out Saka's knees, basically. I think Saka tries to stay up, and that's why his like fall kind of looks like a slow, like weird, I don't know, like almost flop, but like it for me, it wasn't a flop, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But
I like to think when players are in that situation, you don't want to make an unnatural movement to cut back, because that just risks injury so much, right? Especially on your knees. When you're trying to twist and cut back to the way you're coming, but a player is coming not necessarily at your knees, but I'm not sure, was it Gomes that tackled him there? I don't remember who the defender was, but the defender hit his knees.
I think so, yeah.
Don't remember what part of the defender's body hit Saka's knees. But when someone's hitting your knees, you never want to try to go against the force that is putting pressure on it, right? That's
sure.
Not how your knees work. So I was very much on the side of Saka had no choice but to fall the direction he was falling, just because of risk of injury and other factors too, right? If he doesn't go down there, I could say, you could argue that it would never be a PK, but we're in such a gray area of PKs and dives. Well, if you don't sell it, you're not going to get the PK. But also, if you can stay on your feet, you need to. But then if you stay on your feet, you're not going to get the reward of a PK. It's it's kind of like ass backwards right now in what they want a player to do in that situation. And, you know, it feels like 9 times out of 10, the player will never do the right thing.
Yeah.
Unless you're Holland.
I mean, I think you make a good point of like, ideally, you want to stay up because, you know, that defender's now on the ground at least, if not, you know, fully past you, so then you can get through. But then, if you're put off enough that the chance is kind of gone, like in your head, it's probably then better to try and sell it a little bit because then you can at least maybe get the PK out of it. But I don't know. I don't mind the on the field call here of the ref, you know, not wanting to call the PK, but I think this was one that VAR needed to step in and just give him a second look. I don't need them to say this was a PK or wasn't a PK, but at least let him know that there was maybe more contact than you think or you saw. So just go look at it, right? Like, and I think that's all that VAR needs to do is offer that. You know, I know they want to kind of raise the threshold of what constitutes enough contact for a PK, and that's fine. But like I think this was one where it could go either way, really. And like, I'm not overly upset that this call didn't happen, but I think it definitely was a foul at the same time. So
is that when he got his yellow?
No, he got his yellow later.
What was his yellow for? What was the context? I don't remember.
I forget exactly what it was.
Okay.
I think maybe just, you know, some complaining or something. It was
so a situation like that though. So he didn't get the yellow there. What did the ref think he was doing then? You know,
that's the thing.
When you're not,
right?
if he's diving, punish, give him a penalty for it. But if he's not, what are we doing? What's this all about?
Yeah. So I mean, I guess you can kind of just call it like a coming together, and then you know, no yellows. But at the same time, like, I guess it's that weird gray area of now when you're in the box, whether it's a coming together or not, like it almost is a dive regardless of if it was or not. But if you don't call the PK, then it comes out a little more divey, right? But I don't know. I mean, certainly not the ref's only mistake on the day.
No.
But you know, we'll get to those in a second here. But I mean, like first half was looking really good. Then I forget exactly what minute it was, but like pretty close to end of half. Larson gets a really great header on the goal, and Raya makes his like crazy reaction save, which kind of surprised me because, I mean, last year we didn't see him do too many saves just because like Arsenal's defense was such a wall, right? But even then, the times that he did have to make a save, I feel like we never really saw him have to make such a quick reaction move, and to know he can do that and that's in his locker is, you know, another check in the box of why he's, you know, starting over Ramsdale. Not that Ramsdale didn't also have those same kind of crazy saves, but you know, Raya has the distribution and all of that to his game as well. So you know, first half ends, I'm feeling pretty good. Not too worried. Was still upset about the non-PK call, but whatever.
It's gonna happen more than once this year.
Well, yeah, exactly. Then you know, second half kind of picks up right where I left off. You know, Arsenal mostly in control, Wolves with the look here and there. But then it's Havertz does a little layoff to Saka. Wolves just didn't want to press him enough, I guess. Like, you gave him way too much space. You know he's cutting in on his left. It's the same Arjen Robben issue, like block his left, but he somehow still does it. And then just, you know, a great little powerful near post shot.
I knew you'd be so happy about that.
That one was like, like that's what I want you to do. I want you to always just find your way on that left foot around the guy, and if he can continue to do that, he's going to have a crazy season. Because I mean, what a hit! Saw certainly thought he was going far post. Bukayo, picked correctly and got a lot of good power on it too to make sure Saw couldn't get there.
I personally think Saw should have maybe done a little bit better there, considering how close his hand was to the ball. No, again, this is not a knock against Saka and the quality of the shot he had. I just thought Saw probably should have seen that coming. I don't know, you get the man on his left, and you got to know, of course he could have maybe opened up his shoulders to go and kind of slice, or I guess, finesse the ball in the top left of the box, but he didn't. He had his shoulders closed. When you're looking at a player and they're shooting and their stature of how they're going to shoot the ball, when their shoulders are dipped and low, it's going to be a power shot driven low. If the only place Saka had to go in that point was near post, there was too much in the way to go far post and try to bend it in. If it would have been a crazy goal if that dude went finesse far left post.
That's a thing too. Is I think there was enough of the Wolves' defense in the box, kind of in the way that he didn't have an option to go far post. So I think Saw definitely got it wrong.
Saka had the only thing he could do there was hit it as hard as he could near post, and he did it.
There you go.
Enough said.
Yeah, and then we get to the fun period of the game.
Let's get handsy, Chad. Let's get a little cheeky. Come on.
Yeah. Havertz and Mascara, I
believe that's how you say it.
Get into a little tussle, I'd call it, over the ball.
That's what you call it?
Prior to the fall.
Okay. Oh, prior to the fall. Okay.
Yeah. Certainly both handsy in it, both kind of yanking on each other.
Sure. Part of the game.
Very 50-50. Yeah, no issue with that. And then, Havertz falls to the ground, and then Mascara just almost without choke slamming him, kind of choke slams him. But it's fine because he didn't fully commit or something.
Did you hear the commentary?
Yeah. I was sitting there watching this. I was like, what the hell is going on? What?
The commentary was, I'm not quoting this verbatim, but it was along the lines of, well, he didn't put all of his body weight onto his neck.
And what'd they say? He thought better, so he didn't fully put his body weight on there or something.
They made it seem like this was Havertz's fault.
Yeah, and I was like, what do you mean? This guy, one, you can put your hand anywhere to brace yourself, right? And two, okay, if you just happen that your hand lands on the guy's throat, I think instinctually most people would pull their hand up and just fall at that point, right? But he was locked in, and for a good 5 seconds, maybe. It wasn't a quick little grab.
That might be Arsenal bias, the 5 seconds, but it was enough time.
It felt like a long time.
It was enough time. It was enough.
It was enough time.
It was enough.
And I saw some comments saying okay, so just reenact this, but they're both standing up, and he has his hand on his throat,
Casemiro.
Yeah, hello, we've seen that and seen what comes of that, and. One, for this to not be a red card is insane, but two, for Mascara to not even get a yellow card in this situation is just ludicrous.
Casemiro grabbed Will Hughes' neck.
Yeah.
Nowhere to the extent... This is way worse.
This is way worse,
He put body weight on it. Havertz was in I'll call it a defenseless position. What was he supposed to do? He has his back on the ground. At least Will Hughes could have socked Casemiro in the face. He didn't. Chose not to. Havertz was falling down, no idea, and all of a sudden,
just crazy.
So what's crazy though? Not even the worst thing Mascara did.
But I mean, it's just it makes no sense.
Should have been sent off.
Yeah, VAR. This is your bread and butter right here of a play that the ref may not have a great look at this, or may think, okay, hand is down, but on the ground past his neck or whatever. But VAR, you got the angles, you got everything to look here, and I think they said it was checked, but again, this is one where I think they don't want VAR to re-ref the game. I get that, but like also by not showing the ref or allowing the ref to go have a second look, you're still re-refing the game basically. Just you're still calling the shots of what you deem worthy of taking another look at. And I think this is certainly one where you send him over. You don't got to put any comment into it. Just call up whoever it was, Gillett or whatever ref, and be like, hey, just go look at the monitor. Like, that's it. Like, it doesn't have to be a whole explanation. Don't got to walk him through step by step. Just let him go look. And then if he wants to, zoom in and slow it down, let him do it. But just, it's full on WWE out there.
Where's
crazy.
The chair? Where's
crazy.
The chair?
Yeah.
I clocked the net grab at 3.8 seconds. So
okay,
you're not far off. Off.
Add in the Arsenal bias, and it's 5.
Yeah, you're 5. Arsenal math.
Yeah.
Okay, time to get to the cheeky calls now. Okay. Free kick wants to be taken quick by the Wolves. Jesus is on the pitch. We all know it happens.
We all know
right? We all know what he's doing. He's trying to stop a free kick. What was he doing? Tying his shoe or lifting up his shin guard? Whatever.
Fixing his shin guard. Yeah, I don't know.
It don't matter what he was doing. We all know what he was trying to do. Stop. The play from happening fast.
For sure.
Mascara says, "Give me some of that cake." And what did he do? Bro, he kind of went full fingers in the bum.
Yeah, he got a whole handful of cheek.
Yeah,
plus,
don't do crack, but it was in there.
Yeah,
that was crazy. That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen on a soccer pitch. Because I knew exactly what Jesus was doing. I knew exactly what a Wolf player was going to do. Get the hell out of the way.
Sure.
But I'm also going to take some of that.
Yeah, that was nuts. Like, Jesus was not, being coy about what he was trying to do or anything. But okay, just walk up and just like, I don't know, you can like push him or like grab his shoulders, whatever. You don't go like hand on ass and get a little finger in there to try and move the guy.
That was pinky in, son.
That was
crazy. Chris and I were losing our minds when we saw that.
Yeah,
we just couldn't believe it because we both saw it coming, and then we're like, "Why did he grab him there?" And then when they showed it again, they're like, "Oh, he was in."
Yeah,
he was in there.
But again, like, so yeah, Jesus retaliates, pushes him. I get that,
good.
But like, somewhere in here, Mascara needs to get a yellow, whether it's the Kai Havertz tussle. This, you're still, while you may not have kind of like pushed Jesus, you still are, having contact with him that is not a legal part of the game, I'd say. For him to get out of this game, no yellow is insane, and I don't know, that butt grab was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
It's a image for the season in day one.
For sure.
I mean,
for sure.
I'm screen capping this now, and I'm gonna put it in the Discord because we can't forget. I'm gonna pin it forever. It's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wild. I mean,
Jesus got the card for it, right?
No card. Just
no, Jesus got the card.
Oh yeah, Jesus got the card for his retaliation, which like
it's a great retaliation, by the way.
Fair enough.
He said, like, get the hell out of there.
But yeah, for the actual offender here to not have any consequence is just, I don't know. Premier League is back, baby.
We're
the refs
back,
are
baby.
here.
We're back.
VAR is maybe not here, but we're back. Drama everywhere.
My favorite part is when he pushes him over and he literally goes, he grabbed my bum. Like, he reaches back to his own butt to like show what he did. It's so good, dude. It's so good.
Because Jesus is, one, knows what he's doing, but two, is expecting some sort of push or something there, and in his mind he was probably going to try and just sell it a little bit, right? Waste more time. He's not expecting to get some people want to call it assault. I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but it was more than Jesus was expecting for sure.
It's just shocking there wasn't a card for two of those incidents, the Havertz and Jesus. I mean, it could have been red card for definitely the Havertz incident, but to see no yellow here, man, count your blessings. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, for real.
Oof, man.
So yeah, ended exciting. But game as a whole, I think was a nice opener. Got Villa next week, so needed to kind of come out here strong, and I think getting Havertz a goal early on is going to be good. Saka getting a goal. Well, I mean, they both got a goal and an assist, so if that's a new partnership that's going to kind of blossom this season, that'll be wonderful. But I think, overall team looked really good. Just, basically, picked up where they left off, and just kind of need to get Martinelli back into the rotation. He fell off a little bit last season.
I think he looked all right.
I think he looked all right.
He looked okay. I mean, it wasn't.
Yeah. I saw some comments about Saliba. I think that's just the rust of it. He didn't get a full preseason. He was away at Euros, came back, I think, about the same time that the English guys did. So, I wouldn't
worry about that either.
No, yeah, I think he looked good for the majority of it, and had his one or two little mistakes here and there, but backline still looks very strong. So, and that's without Calafiori in there, and I don't know. There's no real certainty of if he's a left back or left center back. I think he's probably going left back, but things look good. I'm still very nervous to go to Villa, but here we go. Season started, and I'm happy to be one of the teams with 3 points this week and not less.
Kristen wanted to make sure I noted Arsenal definitely has the most handsome team in the league. So just the Calafiori signing really solidified that argument. I was like, come on, man. You can't bring an Italian model in here and then expect everyone to keep up with that. What is that, dude? Anyway, that's what's happening in our house right now.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, you wanted to segue to Villa. I think that's a good place to do it. Villa West Ham, Villa 2-1. I won't lie. I think West Ham could have done better.
Yeah.
I also think Aston Villa could have done better.
Yeah.
I think these are two teams that could arguably be in the same positions. Shout out Zach Fisher saying, I think these two teams are going to be top. I believe it. I just think these two teams on this weekend were not at their best. Like C+ for both, if I had to give them both grades.
It felt like, in a lot of these games, whether it was the whole game or first half or second half, I feel like a lot of teams just had that new season jitter, shaking off the rust, getting really back up to game speed. Yeah, you've had preseason games, but it's never going to match the intensity of an actual Premier League game. So I'd agree. Both were kind of C+. Like, both certainly had moments where they could have and should have done better. But it was a fun game. I enjoyed it.
I watched all of it. I thought Kudus is going to be great for them. I think he was easily the best player on the pitch. If I had to knock West Ham, they got number 9 issues. I want to see what full crew could do in a full 90. I do think I think he is at this point better than Antonio. I think Antonio needs to be that guy you bring in the 90th minute to either hold the ball as like a holding 9, or grab us a crazy, like, we just need anything up top. And that's when you keep Fulkrug and Antonio up there. Again, I feel like a lot of the new signings that came into the Premier League this weekend didn't start.
Yeah, right? I think there was a
lot of those.
Kind of playing it safe with those new signings. Either giving them time or just not feeling like they're up to the tactics yet.
Villa, Onana, I kicked myself because I wanted him on my team.
4 minutes in, he said, "You made a mistake."
It's all right. I'm going to watch it from afar, and I'm sure everyone else will too. it was writing on the walls, man. If this guy could be good on Everton, of course he could be good on a top 4 team.
Oh yeah,
who's going to
sure.
Champions League. So
Yeah,
inevitable. Maatsen came right in. You know, again, I was like, wow, Matty Cash over Maatsen today. That won't take very long
not at all.
to change out. Maatsen is clearly the better player on the right side. Tielemans looked nice too. I think the big question mark, elephant in the room, why did Ollie Watkins come off so early?
Well, he did nothing. That's why.
Is this going to be the Ollie Watkins every 4 weeks he'll pop off type of season?
You know, I'm not trying to judge too quickly. You know, I don't know when he got back with Villa, but you know, Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka came back just maybe 2 weeks ago. So you know, didn't get a full preseason, kind of getting back up to speed. But I mean, yeah, Ollie looked just kind of off. You know, just didn't really offer the same threat that we're used to seeing him have out there. I mean, you know, he only had 15 touches in his 61 minutes, which as a striker is you know, not unheard of, but ideally you're at least getting a couple shots in there, and you know, he had nothing as well. So it's like certainly not the season opener he wanted to have, but
especially when Duran comes in and scores the game winner.
Yeah.
You know, that's gotta. I'm not saying you don't want your team to win, but when a 20-year-old, I don't want to say shows him up like that, but shows Emery what he has to offer. You know, what does Emery do now? He has a top 4 striker in the league, or he has this new up-and-comer from Colombia who's ready to show everyone else how good he is. It's tough.
Yeah, I mean, probably a good problem to have. You know, hopefully that gets Ollie, you know, in the gym, on, you know, getting up to fitness and getting ready to play. But yeah, I mean, fun game to watch. I think West Ham will do better. It looked like they got good pieces in there to really kind of make something happen.
So let me ask you this: do you think this is 2 top 5 teams going against each other?
2 top 5.
Because it was for me, and it was close for you. You had West Ham 7, Aston Villa 4.
Yeah, I definitely. I don't think both top 5, but I think certainly that top, like 6, 7. It felt like it was, you know, Villa looks good, but I think their backline kind of surprised me and let me down a little bit. Especially Emmy in goal. I think he
looked a little off.
He just looks a little not fully focused maybe. And then on the other side, you know, West Ham, I think as a whole just felt a little bit off. Like I don't think they really got Bowen involved enough.
No, Bowen could have done. I feel like he could have done so much more this game.
Yeah.
But they also were throwing a different formation in there too. They were doing this kind of 4-1-4 thing with Souček playing a little bit higher than what we're used to seeing him play. You know, I want to see West Ham put out their best 11 at the start of a game, because they're just so, their depth up front is so crazy. We didn't see Ward-Prowse come in till later. We didn't see Somerville come in later, to Fulcro till later. They have all these big, not even big names, just good players to have on your team who should be starting, in my opinion. How do they make this rotation work? How do they make all these players gel together?
Same issue they had last season.
It's a good issue to have in their case, because now West Ham won't compete for titles, right? Unlike Chelsea, who wants to compete for titles. At least they have a good balance of players who have been in the Prem, have arguably now gone to Champions League finals in Füllkrug. I think it's the right set of players. They just need to find a way to have everyone click. They're missing they're missing that they got, I don't want to call it glue, because they'll figure that out. It's just, Maybe just time. They just need time.
I think you just gotta, time, but I think just also kind of adjust to some of your players' strengths, right? Like
Mm.
Kudus
Hmm.
looks great on the ball, and he's great on the wings, but I'd almost rather see him in this game setup be maybe where Antonio is, right? And play a little bit more false 90 in that. Um, but then you have, Paqueta, Bowen, and I guess you'd replace the left wing with Somerville.
I
And
like that. I like that a lot.
I think that's a lot more threatening. Maybe they felt like that was going to be too attack heavy against the Villa team that's been pretty good. But I think they got options, right? Like Kudus, I think you can play pretty much anywhere along that front, and
Make Paqueta
you'll
your
be
false
okay.
nine. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what City wanted him to be for a De Bruyne replacement. Why not?
yeah. So
This team's
I think
interesting.
this is maybe a try to play a safer start to the
Mm-hmm.
season,
Mm-hmm.
but I hope they can kind of get a little more risky or just experiment a little bit more. Like you got a lot of great players and
They're young.
a lot of young players that are quick and can cause issue or at least take some of the defensive gravity over to one side and then leave the other side open. Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting season for them. I think in my head they kind of have like a Villa of last season
Mm-hmm.
aura to them
A
almost,
little
where
bit.
it's like an excitement around them that could come to fruition or just like won't.
Well, they got Palace next week, so that could be a pretty interesting matchup. I mean, I would take West Ham on paper over Palace.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but at the same time, I think Palace kind of wants to prove that they might have something going for them, especially the way they
Yeah.
ended last season. And then, of course, like not the greatest start to their first game. So I think that'll be an interesting matchup. Two teams who lost 2-1 coming in, and if you lose two in a row now, what do we got to shake up?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Jump to Palace or
yeah, segue. Palace
yeah.
Brentford. Brentford for me, at the beginning of the season, I have finishing at number 10. Palace I have at 14. I'm sorry, 13. You have Palace at 14. You have Brentford at 12. I think that stands true.
Feel pretty good with either one of those, honestly.
I feel pretty good. Yeah, I think Palace again probably could have done better this game. Having that as a goal taken away is rough.
Criminal.
Rough. Yeah. All right. Well, you said it, not me. I think it's disappointing because I think it would have made for a more interesting finish to this game.
Yeah.
Two teams are just kind of in the same spot. I don't really know what they want to do with their season. I feel like they're both pretty content as long as they stay in the Premier League. They're kind of letting players go. They're not going to play Tony, who we saw for England over the summer, and when he got his limited minutes, looked decent, looked good.
Yeah.
I feel like it's kind of bizarre they couldn't find him a spot in their starting 11. And then, of course, same goes for Palace. You get rid of Elise. You want to get rid of Guehi for a chunk of cash. It's like, okay, what do you guys want? What's the goal here? What do we want to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of hit nail on the head there. It's like, as long as they both are in Premier League, ownership is happy. You're probably happy with your coach as long as you're not, fighting relegation.
Both coaches I like. I like both of them. I like Thomas Frank. He's the third longest, might be second now, second longest tenured manager in Premier League. Because it was Pep, Klopp, and Frank, and now I think it's got to be just Pep and Frank.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's done well with Brentford in his seasons that they've been in here, and Glasner over at Palace came in last season and kind of really turned them around, especially towards the end of the season. I don't think they got a good replacement for Elise, which he didn't play a whole ton anyway, but when he did, yeah, it was a whole different Palace. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised to see Mateta start. I thought he would if he features, it's a late sub, just because he was just at the Olympics. He looked good there. He was getting the goals. So maybe you're just trying to build on that. But I think I don't know. I think he looked a little bit tired, maybe of he didn't get the full summer off, or just not enough time to relax, maybe. But
he was stretching the legs today.
Yeah, for sure. Like it was. I don't know. Like I kind of hope this game would be a little bit more back and forth, and kind of was. But I think that Eze goal really would have made this game just kind of pop off and explode both sides of the pitch. But okay, so Eze, if the whistle doesn't get blown before that goal goes in, and okay, ball is in the net, it's called a goal. If you check it in VAR and they deem the contact between defenders a foul, even though they weren't really a part of the play, would they have called that back still? Because that's kind of where I was at, of like, one, you should have just kind of let the whole phase of play end, and then you can figure it out. But two, like, these guys were not involved in the play. They very well could have been, had it bounced off the post and come out. So I get that, but like, it was just a too jumpy on the whistle.
One of my bucket list items is fewer VAR challenges. So, I'm glad it didn't come to that, but at the same time, I don't know, Chad. VAR's a work in progress.
Always is, which is fine. It should continue to grow and get better, but I feel like we've stagnated here for a while.
We're at a weird point in VAR, and what I guess its overall mission is to make the league better, but at its own pace. So it's tough.
Don't re-ref a game, but then don't offer the ref the ability to go look at something again, because that you're saying too much. But then even though this goal probably should have stood, you can't check it because he blew the whistle. But did we not see I don't know if it was Premier League, but wasn't there a game where it ended, but then it went to a VAR check and they brought it back or something? It might have been Championship.
It was the Olympics. It was Argentina, Morocco.
Well, that one, but I was thinking longer ago. But I mean, so yeah, there you go. I think I don't want to do another podcast ranting about VAR, but
it's gonna come. It's inevitable.
We'll save that for when it just happens, I guess.
The VAR Wars episode 2. Get revenge of the VAR. It's coming. Yeah. We have it planned. Just wait a couple more episodes.
For sure.
Damn it.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, I thought Brentford looked very good. And Bumo doing his thing again.
He's a midfielder. Great. Just letting everyone know.
He looks fully recovered from his injury last season. Great pace, great dribbling. Great hit on his shot. With or without Tony, I think he's going to thrive this season. And
Wisa's a nice partnership too.
I think that partnership is almost a little bit better than Tony, because I think Tony wants to take too much of the spotlight, and I think Wisa is a little bit more team player.
For sure, I'm on the same page. I think Wisa looks really nice. I think he's a good. He's just the partner. He's just the. I don't want to call it a role player, but he'll never. It's like the Firmino in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Right. He'll score when he wants, but he'll also make sure you get what you want to. Very unselfish.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
All right, up the bees.
Yeah, that's it.
Should we up the goals next?
Yes.
We have to. Okay. Chad, I was a little down on Brighton at the start of the season. 11th for me, 10th for you. Can they fly higher? Can they?
Um, they can,
Will they?
but this is almost a repeat of the start of last season where they got so many goals at the start.
It's hot.
And then, some injury, some whatever, but they just fell apart and could never get it back together.
Well, it's Mitoma. Yeah. Mitoma's the glue. You keep Mitoma on this pitch, and you're a different team. Okay, let's just get to the Mitoma goal. The Welbeck cross was fine. Great cross. It went across like 3 defenders on their back line. But Mitoma had to sprint so fast to get to that ball to meet it. And then finish it pretty close to perfectly. It's Mitoma, man. When Mitoma is on, this team clicks so hard. And we still have a couple players Brighton needs to bring back off of injury. And they could arguably get better. This team is such a wild card in where they might be. They could, if Mitoma goes down, this team could go to 17th place. I don't think they'll get relegated, but they could. I do think they don't have the quality to score goals and have just different finishing options. Their back line is kind of sketch sometimes. It's just, God, man, when Mitoma is on and he's flying, good things happen.
I mean, he's just a incredible player. Caused so much havoc for Everton, and enough for Ashley Young to say, I don't want to be out on this pitch anymore.
Retire, homie. Retire.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I would not have been surprised if Ashley Young came out after this game and said, you know what? Hanging up the boots. I had a good run.
Three games is too long of a suspension. I'm out.
Yeah. I get it was Everton, but what a complete performance from Brighton here. Like, you're making Danny Welbeck lead the points in fantasy.
Shout out to Hector, crazy. Dude. Well done.
Yeah, Hector.
Sub him out now, because
you might as well. Honestly.
How you get on top of this?
Take your points and run, but I think Brighton looked pretty good. A few missteps here and there, mainly just from like their back line. Like you said, was a little bit. Man.
It's Dunk. I'm worried for Dunk.
I think he's maybe. I don't want to say that he's losing it, but he's maybe just not up to the speed needed to really operate in this team.
He's a little washed. He's getting up there, man. He's been around for a minute.
I mean, he's 32, so he's definitely at the top end of his career.
I admit it. I'm washed. It's cool.
These things happen.
Join us.
We all get old. We all just start a podcast to talk about the footy instead of play the footy. It happens.
Yeah, we'll have you on the show. Don't worry, Lewis. It'll be okay.
But man, I think Everton it didn't look great. Like, there was maybe like 1 or 2 moments that looked
which
promising.
Wait, be specific.
There was something. I think Harrison had the ball and crossed it in or something. I forget exactly now, but that was about it. Honestly, like,
it's gonna be rough, man. I haven't met 18.
It's gonna be rough.
You haven't met 18. They haven't got those points taken away yet.
Yeah. So I mean, eesh.
They're not getting taken away points yet because they can't go negative. As soon as they get 6 points, expect the deduction. I'm telling you, expect it.
Not a bad shout.
I think 6 is, for what I've read and for what I've seen, 6 points is probably accurate, right? Mm-hmm. It wouldn't shock me if they get reset back to 0 as soon as, 6 draws or 2 wins. I don't know which will come first.
Eesh.
That was rough for them.
Yeah, not a great opening day. Brighton was always going to be a challenge, but
that was easy.
You would have liked to do a little bit better. Yeah, it was way too easy. Yeah, it's. But I guess back on to Brighton, they got Man United next. If it's that United we saw against Fulham, I think this Brighton team storms past them again. Like,
I haven't looked to see in our Pick'em League what games I want for next week. Only Zach Fisher got 5 for 5. Everyone else was 4 and 3 and 2.
Yeah.
Jordan, I just want to say Jordan didn't know that you could also pick Sunday games too. So I'm going to give him a little bit of, he said, when do I get to pick Sunday games? And I don't think he followed what was going on. That's okay. So he'll be back up in the table. But if I look at this game for Brighton and Man U, if I have to pick it, I'm picking Brighton.
I would agree. If Brighton can just build off of this, they got to just find a way to sustain this over the season, right? Like, whether that's just keeping Matoma healthy or, when they stumble, being able to get back up to their up to speed quickly. Like, they're a good team. They got a lot of good players and a lot of young players that just kind of click really well with each other. So I think. I like Brighton anyway, so I'll be watching. But I think United better do their homework.
Good luck. And also, I just, while we're on the Pick'ems table, a good amount of hooligans are in this. Atlee, you, Hector, Zach, Chris Curtis, Kristen. So it's cool to see the kind of the ties of the two pools coming together. I'm gonna try to update our Discord to show everyone where everyone's at. It's cool to kind of see like a little separate side pool of what we're doing. I hope everyone can just keep up with it. It's a long season, 38 weeks, so I get it if you can't, but we'll try our best. So I'm thinking what we do is maybe at the end of every podcast we go through week 2. Just to kind of see who you're picking.
Sure. Yeah.
I just took a quick peek to kind of see what I would do. So I think we should maybe if there's listeners out there, which I know there's at least a couple in this table that are probably listening in right now, give you a little insight on what we're thinking. So
yeah.
All right. Well, any more on Brighton Everton?
No, that was good.
I kind of want to go just like fast paced between a couple of these.
Sure.
If you don't mind, I want to get to the Chelsea City game. We're an hour and 10 deep. Opening weekend. Yeah. It happens.
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
Newcastle Southampton. Fine. Schär with the red card.
Silly. Just
silly by him. If we're looking at the red cards this weekend, definitely one of the harsher things we've seen. Shouldn't have done it. Whatever. You did it. You're suspended. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
I think it should have just been a yellow for both of them.
Yeah.
Brereton kind of shoulder checks him in the back. Schär reacts, but anytime you do that kind of head butt motion, you're just playing with fire. Harsh red, I think, considering.
I was shocked when I saw it. I was like, that's red. I was like, okay, he kind of headbutted him at the same time. So I get it. But when a dude is choking and butt grabbing the way others were and there's nothing, it's hard to compare.
Yeah.
Southampton, little rough. You kind of, right now I have you not getting relegated, but after that performance, I'll come back.
Didn't look too good. So.
You got him at 17th too.
Yeah.
So we'll maybe do a revision of this at some point in our lives. Bournemouth Forest, pretty much how I expected it to go. Chris Wood tap in, Bournemouth late game equalizer. Like that's just how Bournemouth rolls. You got to know what's coming. Never count them out. Standout from Forest, though, Nico Williams. We kind of called that early. He was a great stat getter. Great. So I don't know the final tally on his numbers, but a lot of tackles, a lot of interceptions. I guess I can pull it up here. He had 5 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 clearance. He did get the yellow. A lot of the stat getters this weekend got yellows just to kind of bring them down a notch, but it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, look, Forest just needs to start big Carlos Miguel in the back. Like,
Waiting.
what are we doing here?
Sorry, Matt ET, but we need to see the
Yeah.
6'7" giant
Yes,
in
please.
between the posts.
Yeah.
It needs to happen. All right, Chad. We shouldn't spend too much time on City and Chelsea. We shouldn't, because Chelsea is going to take up so much of our time this year. I know it's going to happen. I know it is. Is there anything you really want to say about this game? Holland's a bully.
I think my biggest takeaway from here was just that Chelsea didn't really have that fire that they had in the games against City last season.
True. 100% true.
And that really surprised me, especially like I expected Cole Palmer to try and do something again, but for me, it felt like couldn't really get into the game, and you know, that might just be City defending him well and playing him out of the game, but I think even as like a whole team, it just looked like I don't think they really came in overly confident that they could get anything from this game. They didn't play terrible, but you know, it was just there wasn't that same like fight and drive that I thought they would bring, because they had such a good battle going last season.
There was no excuse for Chelsea to be as bad as they were.
No, yeah.
And
for sure.
If this is the way they're going to play all season, especially with how wide, it felt like Palmer was so wide this game.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough, dude. I don't know. I really want to go over our bucket list. We kind of talked about what we're expecting from Chelsea. I think that's true, and we'll say our bucket list after we play these games. I think what you're right. You are right on what is going to happen. I'll give you my exact number once we get there. But I mean, the team's going to be rough.
Yeah. You know, I know there was a lot of talk about Sterling not making the team, but I think that's fine.
I don't think he's the difference maker in that team.
Yeah, I don't think he would have brought enough to that game anyway. And you have so many players at your disposal that you're going to have to make these cuts, and you literally have to cut like 20 guys before, you know, at the end of the month, basically. So, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like, you know, the Enzo seemed to be playing up higher, but in doing that, we kind of saw him exposed a little bit. Like his first touches on some of these balls were like just bad, and then
dude, you got
some
three
of his
defensive mids in this game. What
yeah,
what are we doing?
like, and like Enzo got into some good positions, and then either bad touch or just very slow decision making, and you know, attack kind of fell apart at that point. Yeah, just a really weird setup. I maybe, you know, overthought a little bit in the tactics room there of like trying to big brain Pep because you know, spent a year under him, all this sort of stuff. But yeah, it just did not work out, clearly.
Enzo's not the pick for this team. It's crazy. He's your captain. It's crazy. Messi made him this way. If Messi didn't exist, there's no way Enzo's here.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I fully agree. Lavia looked great back there.
He's the right pick. Yep.
You know, Caicedo, I think, didn't look as good as he finished last season, but I mean, he was playing in a position he's used to, so he looked better than Enzo.
But he was playing without Enzo. That's
Mm-hmm.
It's Chelsea. God, they're gonna make me have an aneurysm just because of what they're doing. It's insane.
Yeah.
Caicedo was his best when there's not another defensive-minded player in the game. Now I understand they're trying to make Enzo into something he's not, which is a tough task to do. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do that with certain players in the Premier League. You can't have them be the same player they are with their national team.
Yeah.
But it just we've seen it for how long has Enzo been with Chelsea now? This is going on year 2. He was there for, when did he get there? I want to say after the World Cup, so he got 2 full seasons. So this is his third season with Chelsea now?
Yeah, going into his third. Signed in 2022. So, yeah, third season.
I mean, what do you want from this guy? He's 23 and like, I get it. You have a really young team. Oldest player on your team is your keeper. The next oldest, Nkunku. Yeah, and that dude is 26. This is what I'm saying. The blend of young players and veterans is what makes your squad title contenders.
Sure, yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah, just there's no good answer for what Chelsea is doing because no one knows. Like, you brought in, you got rid of Gallagher, and you brought in what, Dewsbury Hall, I guess, would be his replacement, but he's like, I guess a little bit the same player, maybe a little bit more attack minded. And now you're bringing back Joao Felix. Like, I don't know why you're doing that. You're doing that only, I think, to offload Gallagher. I think that's the underlying deal here, which is just ridiculous. Like, I don't think he was terrible in his last time at Chelsea, but not good enough to spend any money on to bring him in. But
6 years, baby.
Anyway, 6 years, yeah. I don't know, but like, back to the game, I thought end of first half, Nkunku and Jackson started to have some like good connections.
Agreed.
And I thought they were kind of gonna keep building on that, and then they just kind of didn't. Like, you took out Nkunku for Neto, which I think is fine. Because
I thought the timing was wrong. I didn't think the timing was good for that.
Yeah. Timing was definitely off. But Neto did provide some of that threat that we know he can. But then you took off Jackson, and then Neto's still trying to throw crosses in, but there's no one in the box because, like, who do you got now?
Yeah, who are you gonna put in there? There's no one.
So subs were definitely wrong. Timing was wrong on the subs. I think the whole setup was pretty off. Like, and this was a City without Rodri, with Ederson playing maybe his worst game we've seen him play for City.
Shaky, dude. That was crazy.
Like, the amount of missed catches or just like bobbled saves from him was just bad, and that should be something you can take advantage of, but they just didn't really have anyone to do anything. Yep. So I don't know, next week try another 11 guys and see if that works.
Enough said. All right. Arguably my favorite game of the week besides our teams, Leicester Tottenham. Now, Tottenham, first half, I said this team looks nice. Looks really good. On paper, you look good. Solanke, I feel like, is the right fit for what you're trying to do. Okay? I feel like your defense, pretty on par. You got one of the fastest center backs in what's it? Oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name. Van de Ven. Thank you. Visario is a great keeper as far as last year. Udogie, Porro, like you have the pieces here, right?
Yeah.
First half against Leicester did not look up for it.
No way. Not at all.
No way. Not even close. And then something happened in that second half where Tottenham just shut off, and Leicester, dude, I thought they were going to win this game. And they had a couple opportunities to possibly do that.
Yeah, they had some chances.
So
it was, almost, the Tottenham that we saw last season, where they kind of have their good moments, but then would just kind of like shut off or make some weird mistake to let the other team back into the game. But this one felt like, you let Leicester get the goal back, but then it was almost like Tottenham couldn't turn it back on. Like, Leicester was all over them for, I think, a majority of that second half.
This wasn't a game of quality. This was a game of nostalgia, excitement.
Yeah.
Kind of brought us back a little bit. I mean, we have to thank Jamie Vardy for a majority of this game, which I mean, I didn't think we'd see much of him in the Premier League, and we got 80 minutes of him today, and I'm content. Literally, Jamie Vardy could sail into the sunset, and this is all I needed from him this season.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like, if we will see much more of him, or if this was just more of that play of, like, first game of the season, you need that experience in there just to calm everyone down, like, and Vardy is going to be that guy up top to do it. I mean, they got pretty good experience throughout their starting 11 anyway for Premier League, but I mean, yeah, I think Vardy too is just one of those that you can put him up to the task of, like, you don't like Spurs, right? And then that's just enough to just, like, fire him up, and, like, he'll go out there and prove a point.
I think you only play Vardy against top 5 or 6 teams.
Oh yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Do that, because the shithousery, the amount of, I mean, he just makes players on the other teams, I don't want to say go crazy, but just they're just like, what is this guy? Romero and Vardy going at it today. I think Romero was kind of shook. He was like, what is this cracked out?
Well, he's normally the crazy one, right?
That's what I'm saying. Like, to have someone to not only match your craziness, but to go one step further, which is easily what Vardy did.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude. Celebration on point. For those who didn't see it, points to the EPL badge on his kit, gives the number 1 to the Tottenham fans, and then gives them a 0, and then points back to them. How has no one done that before?
It's so good.
It's literally probably one of the greatest celebrations I've ever seen. The fact he's pounding Red Bulls at halftime. Come on, man. Cool. This is crazy.
I mean, look, he's up there in age, right? He's 37, so he's got to do whatever he can to get over, whether it's the Red Bull or whether it's just throwing people off with his antics. Like,
dude could snort a line back there and come out, and I'd be like, I love it every second, please.
And he might, who knows?
Dude, if that's the way he wants to go out, I'll tip my hat. I'll be like, I understand.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. I love Vardy. I'm so happy we get to see him. Hopefully whenever we can. The fact when he scores, it's like just people lose their shit, and that's what makes the Premier League exciting. That's what I'm so happy this was the only game on today, and they kind of got their own time slot. If this game would have been on Saturday with all the other games going on, would have been maybe not misrepresented, but just kind of like a forethought. But the fact that the people who got to watch this game saw Vardy do that, and everyone at least in the English Premier League saw what he did to Tottenham. Damn.
Yeah. I mean,
damn.
It's a great start for him and for Leicester. Very well could have snagged a late goal there to take all the points, but they just need to play like they did in that second half. That first half, it looked like they were going straight back down.
I was bummed, dude. I was really
second
bummed.
Second half, I'm starting to believe.
Yep. Fatawo, I'm not sure how you say it, but
I'm not sure. But yeah,
Fatawo, nice player. Young,
yeah, he looks
20.
really nice.
I like him. I like him a lot.
Yeah,
so we'll be
he
watching.
looked good. Vardy, I think looked good for his time out there, and Didi looked good there.
Yeah. Good to see some Zach Vestergaard. Welcome back.
I'd say pretty much their whole back line. Wow, I don't know that he did enough, but he didn't make a mistake, which we've seen him do, or a critical mistake, which we've seen him do a handful of times. So I think Leicester's squad will be okay as long as they can continue to play like that second half. That Steve Cooper being manager worries me because we saw what he did with Forest and just wasn't enough. So
when we saw Wout fast last in the Premier League, he didn't have Vestergaard next to him. Now Vestergaard was there, but Rodgers, we for whatever reason banished Vestergaard to the bench forever. So maybe Wout just needs a little bit of that veteran leadership next to him to perform.
Could be.
When Wout doesn't have to be that guy, I don't know. Maybe he'll be a little more relaxed, a little more reliable. But fun game for a Monday game.
Oh yeah.
I think Tottenham are kicking themselves now for not winning this game, especially for a huge signing they made at striker and one goal against a Leicester, a newly promoted team, right?
Yeah.
They're the only team to I guess drop points against a newly promoted team.
I mean, yeah, I think that game should have more or less been wrapped up in the first hour, maybe for Tottenham, but they just maybe a little rusty or whatever you want to call it. Didn't capitalize on their chances.
Mm-hmm.
They had something like 9 corners, 10 corners, or something.
Wow.
They ended the game with 13 corners. So, to have that and not be able to get a goal from it is concerning, and not, you can't do that if you're gonna really go and challenge for the title. You got to take advantage of at least one of those 13 corners, get a goal from it. So yeah, fun game though. I think Tottenham looks good, building off of last season. I think it'll just kind of be how they decide to play. If they still play this one game plan, super high line, whether we get beat or not, then I think it's going to be a repeat of last season. But
well, we did it, Chad. We went through every game.
Yeah,
we got it done. I think let's get through our bucket list really quick. Let's get through team of the week, player of the week, goal of the week, and then maybe our pick'ems. If you want to do a quick rough guesstimate of your pick'ems. Why don't we start with pick'ems? I'll go first, just so you can kind of we'll do that, and then I'll tell you what I'm thinking for week 2. I am, since we talked about it, I'm gonna go Brighton over Man U. Okay.
Smart.
I'm gonna go City over Ipswich.
Daring.
I know. Believe it or not, I'm going Tottenham over Everton.
Oh wow, you're really going out on this.
I'm risking this one, and then I'm going Newcastle over Bournemouth, a win, and then I'm going Liverpool over Brentford, all wins for the teams I announced.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe route. I'm just kind of doing my first look here, but definitely. I mean, if City doesn't win against Ipswich, that's the biggest upset of the whole season.
I imagine everyone in our table has to pick City for that game.
Yeah, that would be quite the miss if someone doesn't.
Also, what an FU to Ipswich to start this Premier League.
Yeah, that's a rough start. But
get it out of the way.
Get out of the way, right?
Yeah.
So then you can, hopefully just start to build your form and move through the rest of the games fine. So yeah, I think I'm more or less the same. I'm picking Arsenal over Villa. I think we can do it. I think we're catching Villa early enough that they're not in their crazy run of form. So definitely taking that one. City, Tottenham. I'm gonna go Newcastle over Bournemouth here.
Okay. Yep.
And then
we got one left.
Yeah. I think Liverpool over Brentford is a safer pick, but I want to see Brighton win, so I'm gonna take Brighton over United.
Oh man. And I'm not final on mine either. I think the only one that I would look at heavily is the Chelsea over Wolves.
Yeah.
Chelsea should win that game.
Should. But, we'll see what Chelsea team is out there.
Oh, man. This is cool. I like this little pick'em thing. I do like only getting 5 because you have to be a little more strategic than just picking all of them.
Sure.
I know that sounds a little crazy. So yeah, again, thank you for everyone for joining. I think that's going to be a fun little side pool.
Fun, quick, easy one. Yeah.
Super easy, super quick. Don't have to think much. Unless you really want to, but
you could. Yeah, but
you could break it down.
Don't. Yeah.
All right, Chad. Bucket list. EPL bucket list for the year. What you got? Anything fun?
Well, I'm just gonna throw out the two Chelsea ones that I told you about,
Yep.
and that just came right off the top of the head when
That
you
was
threw out the
fast.
idea.
That was fast.
So one, Chelsea has 43, 44 players currently. It will have to get dwindled down to the 25 it was
Yeah.
Premier League squad size. So I'm throwing out. We never see the same starting 11
For all 38 games.
for all 38 games.
Bro, you're crazy. I'm saying give me 20 different lineups for the 38.
20.
20. All right.
20 is a good shout, but I'm a believer, so
man,
I'm gonna
who's your bucket
go.
list?
In my bucket list, I'm going all 38 games. We're tweaking the lineup every single time because you got the personnel. You got to try and keep everyone happy. Like Modric, you think he's excited he didn't even make the team? No, he wants to get out there, get playing. Sterling, I don't know if he's going, but he wants to get out there. Lukaku, he's still in Chelsea. And now João Felix is coming back in, so
Lukaku?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be easier for them to pick a more consistent starting 11 once they cut down their numbers. But I mean, look, you got 2 weeks to go. I haven't seen a lot of talk of a lot of loans or people moving out. So I don't know what you do. Like, you get down to the wire and you have to make the cuts, but then, I mean, you're still paying the guys to then just not play because they're just not registered. So I don't know what they're going to do, but if any team can do a new starting 11 every week, it's going to be Chelsea.
Fair enough. Fair enough. What was your second one for Chelsea?
Second one is, they're sitting on 7 keepers.
Oh, yes.
8,
Yeah.
7, 8 keepers.
Yeah, 7 or 8.
Last season Arteta made the comments of he wasn't brave enough to sub a keeper out mid-match. So then, of course, everyone's kind of keeping that in their mind for the whole season. Never happens because that's just a crazy thing to do. But he's only had Raya and Ramsdale to choose from, really. Maresca has Sanchez, 6 other guys.
6 other guys.
Like,
bunch of dudes.
If there's going to be a keeper sub mid-match, again, Chelsea's equipped to do it.
Is Capo with them? Because he'll be like, not me.
That's it. Kepa would stand strong and say, no, I'm staying out here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 since you gave me 2.
Sure.
And mine are contradicting of each other.
Okay. I like it.
I want to see a different Golden Boot challenger from Haaland. We've seen Haaland last 2 years. 27 goals last year. 1 million the year before. I want to see someone else claim this title. Okay.
Do you have a name in mind, or
a name in mind? Well,
maybe not specifically one name, but a few names that could challenge.
I mean, the Salas, the Sakas, the Havertzes.
Sure,
anyone in top 5, I think has a realistic, maybe not a realistic chance because Haaland is just that type of player. But I think there's a possibility. And then to contradict my previous statement, I want to see Haaland score 5 goals this year. So I mean, I hope he scores 5 and then doesn't score for another 10 weeks or so to kind of balance out the Golden Boot race. We've been talking about 5-goal Haaland for the last 2 years now.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the year? Think he gets it done?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of the, kind of middle table teams have made the smart signings, so no one's like overly weak, I think. Ipswich might be the one you're looking at just because they're kind of just brand new to the Premier League, been 22 years or whatever. Southampton is kind of just a quick return to the league. So I'm not too worried about them. Same with Leicester. Like, if it happens, I think it'll be either against Ipswich or like Forest. So
I think Wolves should watch out.
Wolves is a good shout.
He
Yeah.
scored 4 against them in the past.
Yeah.
That'd be one. I mean, there's again, this dude could pop off at any time.
Yeah.
I just want to see it. Just want to see it because we've talked about it for so long. So
yeah.
I'd hate to see it.
And Pep has to keep him out there long enough to do it, because we've gotten to the 4, right? And then he got pulled out, which, like, come on, Pep. Let that guy just cook one game and see what he can do.
One more.
Yeah.
One more. All right, what you got next?
Let's see. So big Carlos Miguel. Don't know him, but I love him already. Some teams bring the keeper up end of game, try and snatch the goal. Saying scrap that. You got the big 6'7" dude. Get him in the box like mid-match for a corner. Leave another guy behind or whatever to play defense. Get him up top on the corner kick. You might as well. He's such a weapon. I don't know if he can head the ball for anything, but he's tall. Send the ball his way. He's going to get it in.
I think the only thing that knocks that bucket list item is how poor Forrest's balls into the box might be.
That's true.
I'm not doubting his ability to do it, but you got to have the person get you to that
true.
Position.
Very true.
That would be my only, I guess, pump the brakes on that one. I'd love to see it. My bucket list item is a goalkeeper scoring. And I do think, honestly, if I had to put money, going to Vegas this weekend, we should maybe find a bet, Chad, of Carlos Miguel scoring a goal.
Oof,
are you down? You want to split that one? It's probably like 500 million to 1 odds.
But hey, I'll take that. I'll take those odds.
We're gonna watch every Forest game once he gets playing. And you know what, Chad? I'm gonna go one step further. I think he could be the one that gets the goalkeeper sub for that specific reason.
Ooh, that's a 2-for-1. Gets the sub and then gets the goal.
Just fine. Check.
Yeah, wow. It's not a bad idea though. Like,
we got crazy theories over here at the Hooligans pitch.
You might as well. You gotta dream a little bit.
Yeah, dream on, baby. That's cool. I like that one a lot. My next one, anyone but City to win the title.
Yeah. Well, that I think shared amongst everyone else in the league.
No bias here. Like, of course, you want Arsenal, I want Liverpool. Everyone wants a team. Anyone.
Yeah. Anyone. That's it. I just need the other teams to just step up, play their game. Just
beat them. Don't beat us. Beat them.
No. Yeah. You go into a City game and you're acting all scared, and no. Stand up tall, be confident, play your game. At least make City work for it if they're going to beat you,
Oh, yeah, Chelsea. All right, what you got? Anything else?
I think I kind of just want to see another like Brentford 4-0 over United, because that was a great day.
A United smackdown. Those are good. I like that.
Yeah, I'll open it up to just a smackdown, whether it's a 4-0, a 7-0,
One per year. Who beat Man United last year for the first time ever? Was it Luton?
For the first time ever?
It wasn't Luton, was it? It was... there was someone in there. There was someone last year that beat Man United for the first time ever. I want to say it was Luton, but I could be very wrong. Was it Brentford or Forest? It was...
Was it Palace?
Maybe.
Forest
it was Palace. Palace beat Man United 4-0, but I don't think that was it. That was a good one though. That was a spicy one.
Bournemouth beat him 3-0.
Oh man, I don't even think that was it too. Fulham beat them 2-1. Don't remember. I don't remember which. Yeah, maybe I think it was. It might have been the Forest game, 2-1.
Maybe
Because Matty Turner was
Oh,
playing.
well, Palace beat them both times, so maybe that was it.
Oh,
Just the
maybe.
team to do the double.
Maybe. Yeah. Well, just give me another SmackDown.
Well,
Whoever wants to smack them down this year,
yeah,
you have our permission.
yeah. I mean, it's always a good time to see United just absolutely crumble. Bruno cry a little bit,
Love to see it.
Yeah.
All right, I got two more
I,
to round it out here. This one's basic. Fewer VAR challenges, fewer mess ups. I want this to be a clean year. I don't want to have VAR not giving goals or taking away goals and then changing the title race like how we saw with Liverpool last year. I don't care who it is. If it's not my team, if it's someone else's team you're screwing over, don't. Be better.
don't. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's what 3 years of VAR now.
Yep.
I think. So I mean, yeah, you gotta have most of the kinks worked out, and the semi-automated offsides is coming in either September or October, which is just silly that it didn't start with the season, but whatever. So that'll definitely help, I think, a little bit there. But I mean, yeah, just come on and call it fairly. Again, you don't need to really offer any opinion to the ref other than here's a second look.
No, you don't. Keep it simple.
That's it.
Keep it. You know what? That's a great. Just keep it simple, VAR. Simple year.
Yeah. Exactly.
Don't do too much.
Yeah.
And then my next one here. This is actually Kristen's. Didn't know this, but Osaka EPL hat trick.
Oh.
Yep. Thought you'd like that one.
I guess, yeah.
He got a hat trick for England, but that's it.
Yeah.
No Arsenal hat trick for him. And I would think this could be the year for that to happen.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, if he can, keep cutting in on that left foot, doing the Robin, then he can certainly get the Hattie.
She did. I was like, oh yeah, Saka hat trick, that'd be sweet. I was like, that'd help my fantasy team a lot. She goes, oh wait, no, I want a Saliba hat trick, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll take either one.
Yeah, of course. All right, you got anything else for the bucket list?
No, those are my main ones.
Yeah, solid.
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely on board with anyone but City, but I think that's just goes without saying these days.
Anyone but.
Yeah.
Anyone but. All right. Team of the week, player of the week, goal of the week. I have a pretty simple list.
Mm-hmm.
I could maybe do a 2-for-1 here. If you wanted to go team of the week, player of the week. Brighton for me, team of the week.
Yeah, I mean,
top of the table.
It's early enough that I think you just kind of have to go off of almost the score, right? Brighton did the job away at Everton. Made them look very bottom table, and maybe Brighton maybe being one of the teams that didn't look like they had too many of the first game of the season jitters. So
yeah,
that's a fair. Yeah.
And then just to go hand in hand with that, Danny Welbeck. No one saw.
Has to be. Has to be.
I mean, assist, and the goal, which we saw a couple players do, but the way Welbeck did it with a Brighton team, I mean, man, the man made it look easy.
Yeah.
Enough said.
Yeah, honestly.
Got any shouts for team of the week? Or are we both in agreement on those? Because
no, I'm good on that. Like,
shout outs Leicester, right?
Yeah, Leicester, getting a big point today. But I think, you just week one, go with the big winner, and sure. They earned it well. It wasn't like they got lucky on their goals or anything. So
right.
Yeah.
The goals for me, I didn't see anything crazy this weekend. Not gonna lie.
Nothing crazy.
I liked the Holland goal just because of he kind of went bully ball.
Is
And
really well done. Yeah.
it was just good touches on the feet, which is just when you're 6'5" and you're able to do that, props to you. Props.
Yeah, for sure.
Shout outs to Mo Salah for his goal, deflection off a player and is still able to control it and slot it in. And then the Saka goal, I thought was just, again, lay cut in, lay cut Saka. You go left foot banger, you find a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I got those. And Buemo, kind of same lay cut in. He read the script, but then I also really liked both Onana and Poro's headed goals. It's nothing too crazy, too fancy, but just like a nice, sweetly hit, good power on the header kind of goal for both of those. But yeah, nothing too crazy this weekend. No huge bangers, I'd say. But
if I had to give one award for what the hell defense was that, it has to be the Vardy goal. I'm just shouting out there. The most open man of the weekend was the Vardy goal.
Yeah.
If there was a man marking him, I might even give that a shout for goal of the week. But dude didn't have anyone within 10 feet of him.
And he's wide open.
So that's, I can't give him goal of the week for that. But I do. He got celebration of the week. You earned that one.
For sure.
You earned that one. Yeah, sweet. Who's going to win? Saka, Salah, Haaland.
I'm honestly kind of leaning Haaland.
Me too, dude. Me too.
Just because, kind of like what you said, it's really good touches and like really close control, and
I don't want
to not only like have that control and preciseness in his touch, but to also then be holding off the Chelsea defense while he's doing it. It looked good. Unfortunately to say, it looks really good, and exactly what you want your big striker doing up there. So.
It was probably the best we've seen him on his feet, with the ball at his feet, right?
I think so, yeah.
He's not usually doing these controlled touches, so
yeah.
Yeah, man, power to him.
If that's a new aspect to his game, then pray for the rest of us.
We're screwed.
Yeah.
Next gen Haaland, oh god.
No, please.
Yeah. All right. We didn't really talk about our memes of the week. We got a couple that came in kind of late. Did you see?
I mean, Vardy wins it. I think
Vardy wins it. But did you see the Brazilian? I think. Oh no, it's the Peruvian.
Oh
league.
Yeah.
That game was televised nationally.
Oh.
And and what the best part was, the best part of that whole clip was the fact that the PA guy was announcing the game to the whole stadium, basically saying the guy is pissing by the flag. And I just can't, if I was at a game and I heard the announcer saying that,
yeah,
it's just wild. So yeah, the whole reason why he got a red apparently is because that game was being televised. I mean, of course you can't just do that. It's not like a Sunday league game.
Nah,
dude.
yeah.
If we were at our Sunday league game doing that, I'm sure we'd probably, I don't even know if we'd get a red. I think the ref would be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, it would be more of like what is wrong with you? Like, that's just you shouldn't do that anywhere, out in public. So, yeah, very strange. Wow. Worthy of the red, I think. My only other shout for meme of the week is the did you see the Legia goalkeeper making his mocking dive? That was
good.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do that, but I think I'd get punched. So haven't gotten there
It's
yet.
so good though. It's like shot is so wide, and he just like, all right.
There was in our game on Sunday this last week, a player shot the ball and just like, wait, come on. I just was like, come on, I gotta go get it now. Like, what? Come on. And there was a hill. I just walk. I was like, I'm walking up this hill. I don't even care.
Yeah.
But I'm like, come on, man. So the bad shot, I'm going to start exaggerating. You know what? That gave me some.
You might have to, see?
Some influence. All right, Chad. We're hitting the 2-hour mark.
I feel it.
We had to be done opening weekend.
Yeah.
We've done more.
Weekend.
We've had longer ones on opening weekends.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we nailed it all. I think we're happy to be back.
Oh yeah.
Anything else to say to the people?
I mean, thanks for listening still. Get in that Discord. We're going to have fun things coming up. Got some good ideas brewing. Yeah, I'm just excited that it's all back underway, and you know what? It feels good to have games to like look forward to at the weekend. So
love the community. Love how the Discord has been great this past. I mean, we've really had this season put together in the last week, and the amount of engagement we've seen that we don't have to start. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah. It's just what we're trying to do here. Build a little footy community.
It's working.
So,
it's working.
Yeah.
Let's go international with it. All right, Chad. Week 1 in the books.
Yeah.
37 more to go.
Woohoo!
I'll see you next
week.
It's
gonna fly by.
I'll see you Friday. Actually,
I'll see you in person. Yeah.
I'll see you on Friday. All right, man. Until then, the Hooligans pitch.
All right.
We're out.
Peace.